welcome to the audio array on the line 90.7 FM. I'm your host, Alex Pulis. Today we have Derek, the campus viceroy from Barstool Sports, joining us in the studio. How are you doing today, Derek?
Great. It's great to be here. Thanks for letting me be on your show. I'm super excited. This is my first radio interview, so I'm just ready to go.
Well, we're glad to have you. We're glad to have you. So your title is campus viceroy. How did you ascend to that position?
Well, I've been following the Barstool Penn State account for quite some time now, almost about a year now. And the day of the Rose Bowl, January 3rd, there's this tweet in the morning saying, whoever's interested in running this account, email this person, and I did. I sent him a little bit of a resume, and the day later he got back to me saying the job's yours, just don't screw up. And it's been a blast ever since.
Cool. So what does your job involve, Derek?
Well, I'm basically the representative for Barstool Sports here at Penn State. I run all the social media platforms, the Twitter account, the Instagram account, the Snapchat account. I'm supposed to generate content, find content, post content, just something that would just bring the Barstool brand to Penn State, expand the Barstool brand. I've started with that, and now I'm hoping to move on to more stuff. I'm hoping to one point host events. I hosted somewhat of a tailgate this past weekend. It was a huge hit. I'm hoping for more stuff like that in the future, maybe even bring representatives from Barstool, the main guys here. That's what I'm hoping for in the fall. So, things are looking up, and I'm pretty excited where this is going to take us.
That's pretty cool. So could you tell me a little bit more about the Barstool brand? I'm not sure how much the listeners know what Barstool Sports is.
Yeah, that's understandable. Barstool Sports, it's a growing sports media and entertainment company. It started out in 2004 as just a sports gambling journal where they would post the spreads, the overs, the unders, and it would just be like a guide to sports gambling. And then over the years, they redeveloped their brand. They started expanding into other areas. Especially digital media. They've now been a full front in social media. They've been one of the forefronters in blogs, podcasts, so they're really expanding into that area. They were originally a Boston sports media company. They were focused just on Boston sports, but when they realized there was a potential for a national brand, they expanded into other cities. So you'll find now a Barstool division associated with Philadelphia, with Chicago, with New York, and with DC. And they just added a Barstool Heartland, and which encompasses basically just the center of the United States.
That's awesome. So at Barstool PSU, you were talking to me a little bit about it before, so you don't know who you got the job from?
I do not. My bosses have asked me who, if I know the person running the account. I do not specifically. There have been a couple names tossed around, but I'm not quite sure who specifically ran the account before me. But I'd like to thank them. They built up a great following base. When I took over the account, the Twitter account had about roughly 1,900 followers, and especially some key guys, especially like football players and other popular guys in the Penn State community. And the Instagram account had maybe like 900 followers. So and he did a nice job developing the base that led to just the exponential growth we had this semester. Cool. So Barstool PSU was founded in 2013, am I right? Actually, near the end of 2014, 2015, the Barstool decided to expand into college accounts during March Madness 2014 when UConn went on that run as a pretty low seed. They decided that'd be a great idea to get content specifically for schools. So over the years, they've expanded to, I think, over 200 campuses nationwide. And recently, probably in the past couple months, they decided that the best way to build a national brand is to just put as much resources into the college viceroy program as possible. So, and I've been lucky enough to be a part of that when they decided to do that. So.
Cool. So for Barstool PSU, what do you typically cover? Like, what's your forte?
I typically cover just anything Penn State. Anything sports related, party related. Just anything that a typical Penn State student would enjoy looking at or enjoy, associating with, or just basically anything that's associated with Barstool. I'm just trying to mix in Penn State culture and Barstool culture so I can expand the Barstool culture even more here. And I've discovered recently that there's been a huge Barstool presence here. Like just recently, just walking into here, I just saw a kid wearing a Part of My Take sweatshirt, and then another kid was wearing Larry the Goldfish shirt a couple days ago. So I think the culture has made it here. I'm just trying to just deepen it and expand it.
Cool. So I've gone through your Twitter page a little bit. Actually, we're live right now on Periscope, and I just checked. We have a little over 30 viewers right now. Hopefully, we get that up in the next couple minutes. But I see you have over 6,000 followers now, which you mentioned. So what's the name of your account?
It's PSU Barstool. It was originally Barstool Penn State, but we're trying to, move away from the Penn State and just focus on the Barstool. We're trying to avoid any trouble there. It's really picked up steam in the past couple of months. We've gotten a couple big followers, especially Chris Hogan, the Patriots wide receiver who initially played lacrosse for 4 years here. He's been a huge help. We're the only Barstool account that he follows, and he's interacted with it a couple times. And then we have football players have interacted. And then we also have had a couple rather viral tweets that have went around the Penn State community. Just on Saturday, I was lucky enough to get my picture taken with Hack, and I posted that on the account, and the main Barstool account retweeted that. So it's been huge the past couple months, the amount of following that I've had, and then it just makes everything worth it, just seeing your work being appreciated.
Yeah, I saw the picture with Hack when I was scrolling through the other day. That's pretty awesome. So, do you think you'll get a shot this year with the Jets?
I hope so. The Jets' quarterback situation is a little dicey right now, and it's proven that their situation in the past really hasn't worked out. And I think they're gonna at least give him a chance. I don't know if he's gonna become the starter, become the main guy, but he'll at least be in the conversation, and we'll see where that goes. In the summer with mini camp and then the preseason. So I'm excited to see what happens with him.
Yeah, that'd be good if he got a shot. Just another Penn Stater in the league. So have you met any other famous Penn State icons during your experiences here with Barstool?
Just I've ran into a couple people. I've got a picture with Saquon. Just some stuff like that. Just that the casual run-ins. But other than that, nothing like Hack. And that Hack was just completely random. He was just walked by the Barstool tailgate, and people just started taking pictures with him, and it was awesome. He got to hold the Barstool flag. He liked the picture that I posted on Instagram. So it's been huge what's been happening with the account, and I'm excited.
Nice. Any targets you desire to meet, Penn State icons?
I'm open for anyone. Specifically, I want to meet Adam Ferrone. He's a blogger for Barstool Sports. He originally came to Penn State. He was a student here about 10 years ago, around there. And then he developed into a rap career, and then that rap career then made him popular enough to join the Barstool team. So that would be huge if I got to meet Adam from the next couple months.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, good luck with that. So I'd like to gauge some of your expectations for the upcoming school year. So how are you going to continue to grow your following? You've done a great job of that so far.
That's probably the toughest thing. I would say continue what I'm doing, but I feel like I don't want to become complacent. I want to keep generating fresh stuff. So I've been working on a couple ideas. I don't want to share a lot of them. People might take them, but there's some stuff working for especially the summer, just to keep people interested. When we're not in school, people don't really look into Penn State accounts as much. They're not really affiliated as much. So I'm just trying to keep an interest. That's probably the most important thing. And if I could even increase the following over the summer, and by the fall it would be even a bigger hit, and I can really just have the account just take off.
Gotcha. So you were telling me you're the only one right now that's helping out with the PSU Barstool account. Do you have any plans to grow that?
I'm looking at expansion, but I'm pretty picky on who I want to have the team join a team because I want people who are just focused on expanding the Barstool brand and not then have their own agenda, because Barstool is giving me this great opportunity to run this account, and I just want to help them expand their coverage and expand their brand. I want someone who feels the same way as I do. I would rather have someone who's rather selfless and just wants what's the best for the company rather than what's best for themselves. So I'm open to suggestions. I really want to expand into video making and video editing. I've have some familiarities with it, like I can work with iMovie, I can do stuff like that, but I don't really have the time to do everything. So I'm definitely looking for someone out there who is good with a camera and good with video editing software that can make highlight videos, that can make sorority recruitment videos and stuff like that. You know, just something that just creates content. And then I also want to expand into the journalist side of sports media. I have some experience with that, but again, I just don't have the time to do everything that I want to do. So, I mean, if there's someone out there who is interested in Barstool and would be interested in being a sports journalist for the Barstool company, specifically with Penn State in mind, that'd be huge. I'm open for all suggestions. DM the account, or you can contact me through my email. So, I mean, I'm looking for anyone. If you've proved yourself that you're going to do a good job, I'll gladly take you.
That's good. And you were telling me you're an aerospace major, correct?
Yes, completely different from Barstool and what they do. But it's nice. It's like a nice balance. You know, it's a good I wouldn't say distraction, but it's a good break from like the hustle and bustle of the aerospace. And it's nice to just have something just always like keep in balance. Like, you know, always got to keep yourself in check. There's really no days off for me.
Gotcha. I like the idea you had for the sorority recruitment video. Those things seem to be pretty funny right now.
Yeah, they seem to be a big hit. My boss brought that up a couple of months ago of how he wanted to expand on that. I mean, maybe not right now is the ideal time with Penn State Greek life on some thin ice here, but yeah, I would definitely be interested in that and expand on that. I want to become an account where we can deliver not just sports, but just stuff that people like in general with Penn State. That's what I want to bring here. So, I mean, it is Barstool Sports, but there's an entire media and entertainment brand that goes along with it.
Yeah, the Penn State culture is pretty big.
Yeah.
So, as far as expectations for the upcoming football season, do you want to start making some predictions?
I mean, spring practice has given us a great window as to what the team's looking like right now. But I've been seeing, especially with the account, the expectations of the fan base, and I'm not saying that people are crazy, but they just need to limit their expectations, control them. I mean, this is the same. I'm not trying to bash the fan base here, but there were people who were calling for Franklin's job at halftime of the Minnesota game when they were down 13-3. I was hearing fire Franklin chants, bring on Les Miles, and then there are people 2 weeks later who are praising him after we knocked off Ohio State. So, I mean, we have a very polar fan base, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. They're very involved, they're very committed, but they just need to face the fact that if we don't make the playoff, if we don't win the Big Ten, we can't call this season a failure. I mean, we have 2 Heisman favorites in our backfield. I mean, we have one of the best coaches in the Big Ten, if not the country. We have one of the best staffs in the country. I mean, the tools are there, and it's just I'm excited to see what will happen. If I had to give a prediction right now, I would say either 10-2 or 11-1. Hopefully, that's enough to get us to Indianapolis again, and hopefully that's enough to get us into the playoff. I'm not saying it would be a failure if we don't reach those goals, because our schedule's pretty tough. I mean, at Iowa is going to be tough. Iowa always plays well at home. They beat Michigan last year in a night game when they really weren't even that good of a team. Michigan's going to be a tough home game this year. Franklin and this team seem to always struggle against Harbaugh's team. Harbaugh always finds a way to he's really dominated Penn State in the past couple of years.
He's a heck of a coach.
Yeah, oh yeah, he is, and he has just a heck of a game plan against Penn State for some reason. So hopefully Franklin can break that streak and we can win that. It's the whiteout game, so hopefully a little whiteout magic will carry over from last year. And then Columbus. That if you had to circle one game next season on the calendar, it's the night game in Columbus. That might be the game of the year, not just in the Big Ten, but in college football in general. So if they can somehow go into Columbus and win that game, that would just not be huge for the season, but would be huge for the program in general, because we have not had a signature win in Columbus since 2008.
Yeah, you're right. We could really do for a win there. So as far as predictions right now, so I've got some questions I want to yes, no, over, under on some of these. So you said 10-2 for wins. I'm liking
10-2, 11-1. I mean, hopefully we don't have there's a couple trap games on the schedule, but I mean, if I had to say right now, I'm saying 11-1. But if I won't be surprised at 10-2, I won't be really surprised at 12-0 either. But I'd say 11-1 is a good guess right now. I can't say if that's enough to win the division. I can't say that's enough to win the championship. I can't say that's enough to make the playoff. But if there's anything that last year shows, an 11-1 team that doesn't win the Big Ten East and doesn't make it to the Big Ten championship game and loses on the road to the winner of the division made the playoff. So I'm saying it's not out of the realm of possibilities that Penn State could see itself in one of the Final Four spots.
And when you put it in that light, it's just so ridiculous how we didn't make the playoff.
Yeah, and what I've been thinking about lately, the playoffs. I mean, I feel like Penn State was a more deserving team, but they were reasonable arguments against Penn State. I mean, they had the loss at Pitt. That loss hurt in September, but I don't think anyone knew the magnitude of that loss. I mean, in terms of recruiting and in terms of the playoff in general, that really had some repercussions that we really didn't see into fruition until the end of the season.
So back to some predictions. So how many whiteouts do you think James Franklin calls for this year?
Over under. I would have to put that at 3. I mean, we already have the set game against Michigan, and I'm thinking we have at least 2 more, whether that's a bowl game or another game. So I'm gonna put that at 3.
You know, I don't think I'll bet against you on that one. I like the.
I'll say 2.5, so we can put 3. 2.5.
So I'll go over. I like the 3 number.
I'd probably take the over as well.
Okay. How many broken headsets does Jim Harbaugh have this year?
In the season in general, or just in Happy Valley?
I'm gonna say in Happy Valley. I'm gonna put it at 1.5. I think he'll throw at least 1 down the ground and discuss. 2 might be pushing it, but I think especially our offense, will frustrate his defense enough that a headset will definitely be thrown. Yeah, really. I'm gonna go for 1 there as well. And then I've got a couple other ones here. So you said wins. How many wins at home do you predict?
How many home games do we have? 7.
I think I should pull up the schedule.
I think it's.
Are we going undefeated?
I feel like we're going undefeated at home again. I don't feel there's any. There might be. Michigan's going to be tough. Nebraska's going to be tough. But I don't see a team on our schedule that we won't be favored against at home. I think we'll win all of them at home this year.
Gotcha. And then last one, over under. This past year, what was the number? How many post-game riots were there downtown?
There were 2. There were 2 post-game riots.
So what do we want to set that line at?
I'll set it at 1.5 again. I feel like I might take the under on that. I feel like just since last year was just such a magical season, and it really, some of the stuff really just came out of nowhere and just surprised the fan base. That's what got the kids excited. But who knows? There might be more stuff to come. I feel like I'm not promoting any of these riots. I'm not saying they're good. I mean, they cause so much damage in the community. But when good things happen, Penn State students like to celebrate, and they like to celebrate at Beaver Canyon. So I wouldn't be surprised if we find ourselves there again. I hope not, for the sake of the state college community. I feel like they've had enough dealing with that. But if we somehow make it into the top 4 and somehow win one of those games, if not 2, I feel like there'll be a group at Beaver Canyon. So
yeah, a nice student gathering down
Yeah.
at Beaver Canyon. So thanks for coming on today, Derek. Everyone remember to check out Barstool PSU on Twitter. And thank you for coming on.
no problem. Great to be here.
So we're going to get back to the music right now.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on.